Dave Tepper, he likes to gamble. He made his money gambling, basically, in the stock markets and all that stuff. And he likes to take big chances. There are a lot of rumors swirling around. The Panthers are clearing a lot of cap space. Teddy Bridgewater unfollowed the Panthers on his Instagram. Something's going down. Something is afoot. David Tepper bought this team, and he made bold moves upon bold moves in the less than 2 years that he's been there, and that's not going to stop. So I think more moves are coming for the Panther fans. So let's get all this other stuff out the way as far as what's going on with the Panthers and who they were last year. The 2020 Panthers, 21st in offense, not bad, especially when your best offensive weapon was on the shelf for pretty much the whole year. 18th in pass, 21st in rush. Defense, 18th in defense, 18th against the pass, 20th against the rush. And all of that screamed mediocrity. But the Panthers didn't have a mediocre record. They were 5-11. So it almost feels like they were trying to lose but be good at the same time. And that's exactly what it looked like on the field. They lost a lot of close games. I actually thought Teddy Bridgewater looked fantastic. It's going to be interesting to see what Double Down Dave wants to do this year. So the GM is Scott Fitterer. This is his first year with the Panthers. He came from the Seahawks. He was player personnel there. Head coach, second year, Matt Rule, along with Joe Brady, who I'm shocked isn't a head coach somewhere. So Joe Brady is definitely going to be someone's head coach next year. He's going to be at the top of everyone's board. If your coach is on the hot seat, be looking at Panther games if your team sucks. Phil Snow, this is his second year. He came from Baylor. He followed Matt Rule over. The Panthers have $39.98 million in cap space, and of course, the cap space is very up and down. Probably less cap space than that, according to the new NFL rules. Probably going to be maybe $5 million less than that. The Panthers are actually in a better place than most teams. They're in the top 10 in cap space, so they're looking to make a big splash. And what better way to make a bigger splash? I'm just saying. The biggest needs, they need cornerbacks badly. They need tackle because both of their starting tackles are free agents. Only reason I don't put this higher is because I feel like Taylor Morton at least, or Taylor Moton at least, will be back. I'm not sure about Russell Okung. I actually have Russell Okung going to other teams. If you have watched my previous videos, you need interior line help as well. You definitely need a linebacker. Ever since Luke Kuechly left, you haven't really filled that void. Shaq has been fine, but he's no Luke Kuechly. You can use some extra help. And you actually need a safety because as good as Chin is, he doesn't really play like a safety. He plays like a box safety. He's more like a strong safety, weak side linebacker, a hybrid. So you need that tried and true deep safety that's not going to be the Jamal Adams, but he's going to be that Ed Reed type of safety. I'm not crazy when I say that the Panthers need a safety. They just need another safety that's going to play more like a covered safety. Notable free agents. Kawan Short, who just got cut, Russell Okung, who was a free agent, Taylor Morton, who I mentioned earlier, Mike Davis, Curtis Samuel. These are the big ones. Those are some pretty steep shoes to fill. They're not backbreakers or anything, but except for the tackles. You need tackles. You don't want your quarterback getting killed, and especially if you're getting the quarterback that I'm thinking. The coaching staff in place, I think this coaching staff is actually very stable. I think Joe Brady is an excellent offensive mind. I think this team plays hard for their coach. So I think they're in a good position to be good. They're in a tough division. The Bucks are there. The Saints are there. The Falcons, luckily, they're bad. And I don't know if they can get better anytime soon because of their salary cap. But they still have vets on their team. They still are dangerous. I actually feel like the Panthers are going to make a move for Deshaun Watson. I feel like the Panthers are going to make the Texans an offer they can't refuse, and I'm thinking for maybe even 5 first-round picks. It's going to be something huge. It's going to be something that is going to set the NFL world on fire. I think that they're going to pull it off. The fact that they're ready to get rid of Teddy Bridgewater, like something is happening. Like Carson Wentz unfollowed the Eagles, and 2 weeks later, he was gone. David Tepper is literally offering the Texans a blank check, and he's going to say, what is it going to take for Deshaun Watson to get here? and they're going to make it happen. So I did put together a mock draft, and you'll see that a little bit later. And this is if Deshaun Watson doesn't end up in Carolina, but I think at the beginning of the season, Deshaun Watson is going to come back to Carolina, and he is going to play for the Panthers this year. I think that is going to happen. The Panthers are going to try to figure out the rest of free agency if they do or do not get Deshaun Watson. They're going to get a quarterback at some point, whether it's Watson or through the draft, but they still need to figure out the rest of the defense. There are some good free agents that can help them this year. There's a mix of vets, young vets, older vets. I'm thinking Patrick Peterson. I'm thinking Jayon Brown. I'm thinking John Johnson. These guys can help the Panthers immediately get better and just bring a veteran leadership. Jayon Brown for sure, because he can be that guy in the middle that can definitely help out that linebacking core. It will be good for Peterson to come over here and lead a very young defense and show them how to play football and to play smart. And he could be one of those glue guys that can really bring a defense together. Also want to shore up that offensive line. If they can get Brandon Sheriff, that would be huge. Also, Corey Lindsey from the Packers, it'd be huge if he could come in and play center, and now you at least have that interior line built out. And also, like I said before, sign Taylor Moton, and then your offensive line is one of the best in the league on paper. All right, so draft predictions. Like I said before, I think the Panthers are going to literally mortgage their future for Deshaun Watson. It might cost them 2 early picks this year, but I'm going to pretend like we're not. We're just going to draft. The draft is given, and a draft is given. I think they're going to get Trey Lance. I think he is the guy for you. I don't think any of the other top 3 quarterbacks are going to fall that way. And Trey Lance has been looking mighty fine this offseason, at least on paper. He has the Instagram highlight videos where he's showing the mobility. He's showing that he can throw the ball with some zip and some power. Of course, it all looks good on paper, but we actually have to see what he can do on the field. The pressure of the NFL with the NFL play calling and the pacing and all that stuff, will the game slow down for him? It hasn't for a lot of players. You see Carson Wentz, and it seems like the game is still too fast for him. And not going to knock Trey Lance because they went to the same school in North Dakota State, but that is important. Is Trey Lance good enough to be an NFL quarterback? Other picks, and this is a pick that I think would be huge, is you can get our Darius Washington. He is a speedy, tough as nails safety, and he's one of those guys that you can stick in the slot corner, and he could be your slot guy. He's a guy that you can stick on a running back or a shifty slot receiver, and he's going to be able to stick with him. And then you can also drop him back in coverage. He's short, and he's not a big guy by any means, but no ball's going to get past him. He's going to run down everything, and he's a superb athlete. So I would get someone like that. Demetric Felton, he's a guy that's coming from UCLA, perfect replacement for Curtis Samuel. Used to be a running back, shifted to receiver. Of course, you got Senior Bowl standout Quinn Minards from Wisconsin Whitewater. He was a dude with the belly out. That dude right there, he's going to be a thumper for a long time. So if I were a Panthers GM, I'm actually doing the same thing that David Tepper is trying to do. I'm trying to get Deshaun Watson. It doesn't matter if you lose all those first round picks. Deshaun Watson, he's going to be on your team for at least 4 years. I don't see that relationship souring. I think it would be possible for the Panthers to win with Deshaun Watson. It's possible for the Panthers to put together a Super Bowl team with Deshaun Watson. You have 2 good receivers, and you can build through the later parts of the draft with everyone else. Deshaun Watson was doing amazing things with almost nothing in Houston, and then you bring him to a team that actually has weapons and a feisty defense. You don't think that he couldn't win with that? And now he's seasoned. It was unfortunate for the Texans because the Texans had an amazing defense that just fell apart right when Watson was getting good. So now that he's good, you get a good quarterback with a young defense that is getting better. You're going to be able to blow teams out. You're going to be able to keep up with teams with Christian McCaffrey and Deshaun Watson. Granted, if Christian McCaffrey isn't part of that trade to get Deshaun Watson, you're going to be able to compete and stay in games. You combine Watson with that coaching, that ingenuity that Joe Brady has, and that feisty and young defense that the Panthers have already, this team is going to be scary. And the Bucks are going to get blown up. The Saints are also in salary cap hell, and there's no more Drew Brees. This could be the Panthers' time. The next 2 or 3 years, you're going to see them as major contenders if they have Deshaun Watson. And in my opinion, that's worth blowing up all your draft picks and getting rid. You know, if you lose the first and second round pick for the next 3 years, it's worth it. You lose the first 5 first round picks for the next 5 years, worth it. If Matt Stafford was worth 2 first round picks, you don't think Deshaun Watson is worth that much and more? Especially if you have a team that's playing hardball to get him. I'll do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to get him. That's my guy. You can. It gets to a point to where if you have a contending team like that, you're gonna get players that you can get on the cheap. You're gonna get players who are chasing Super Bowl rings. You're gonna get vets like Patrick Peterson who will play on a discount or play within the means of the salary cap, so you can stay good for a long time. If you have a Deshaun Watson on your team and your team is competitive and your team is able to be in that upper echelon for a long time. That's all I got for this version after reviewing the play. Please check out the links on the side. Let me know your opinion of what you think. If you think I'm crazy for saying Deshaun Watson's worth 5 first round picks, let me know in the comments below, because I want the heat.